User in your channel started recording.
Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Chris Perez, Chris Scales, David Flowers, Tony Groves, William Gibson, and special guest Brandon Massey. Hey, guys.
Good evening.
Mike.
Hey.
Hey. Got a big crowd tonight. That's always a nice. Let's jump right into it because we do have a race tonight. We're going to try to keep it short. Brandon Massey, let's learn about you. Tell us about how you got started on iRacing and how did you hear about it?
Yeah, weirdly enough, back when I still gamed on console, I was playing, I think, NASCAR the game 2012, and obviously the racing in that was hit or miss online, and I forget exactly what happened, but there was an incident, and two people were arguing, and somebody said, well, I play on iRacing, so I know what I'm doing. So it got me really interested, so I checked out the site. I did the 3-month trial for, I think it was $5 back in 2012. I picked it up then, and I've never let it go.
All right, cool. I see your username in iRacing is actually Brandon Massey 3. So do you have like 3 accounts, or are you just the third guy?
Not sure who Brandon Massey 1 is. I am 2. When I use that trial, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this out. It's like, okay, I really want this, but I want to do that discount again. So made a new account, signed up, bought a year, and then that's how it went. So yeah, I'm technically 2, but I haven't used that account since 2012.
I see. All right, cool. Now, how often are you racing, and what series are you running?
Generally, I run B Open and C Open. I try to run at least 2 official races a week. It really depends. I kind of hit or miss on that. And then every Sunday, I try to never miss a PRL race and the occasional Wednesday race when I can make it for PRL as well in their fixed truck series.
Yeah, let's talk about leagues. PRL, I certainly ran PRL over the off season. We've been talking about it on the podcast, the trucks, and that's been real fun. Tell us what PRL is. What does PRL stand for, and how do people learn about it?
Yeah, it stands for Precision Racing League. We have different series spanning road and oval. I'm basically, I guess, co-manager of Oval Series Racing. So I take part in the Wednesday Truck and the Sunday Xfinity, which runs open setups now. You can check us out at our website at precisionracingleague.com. Navigate to our forums and check out our many championships we got there. We strive to have a really good community. We've got a great group of guys, and we improve the racing every season. Like, for example, season 9 in the Xfinity, we're going to start following the iRacing schedule. So that should help improve on signups for people who don't know how to build setups. They can go to the forums during the week and pick a setup up. It will also give them the opportunity to race their setups all week long, basically whenever they're free to do so. So when they come on Sunday, it should hopefully increase the competition level.
Yeah, my impression was it's a very mature league. I mean, there's a lot of drivers, a lot of members. You guys have proper forums and everything.
Oh yeah, we have a great set of forums. Kurt, thanks to our awesome league director, Jerome. We have, like you said, we have a really mature community. We've got a really great rules package. We don't try to over-police people so they feel like they're racing on eggshells all the time. So we just try to make the rules package as easy as possible for drivers to understand and race under.
Yeah, and I certainly enjoyed myself over there and at PRL when I ran, and it was good. I mean, the competition was good too. I mean, a lot of good drivers.
Yep, and the competition seems to be improving every season now, especially now that we're running open setups.
Right. All right, cool. And are you guys recruiting right now? Like, if people want to get involved, or?
Yeah, that is correct. We have signups going for the Wednesday Truck Series that is fixed, and signups are open for season 9. It is not as simple as sign up and you have a seat, though. All new drivers to the series have to do what we call race your way in, where we take a group of, say, 30 drivers, whoever signs up, and we run them through 2 events. Those events are run point style. So, for example, say we need 15 seats filled. We have 30 drivers doing the event. We will pull in the top 15 in points from those 2 races, and we'll fill our seats based on that.
Right. Cool. It kind of filters out the fodder, I guess.
Yeah, and we do also allow people to be invited in by current seat holders. So, for example, if Chris Perez here wanted or found somebody that he likes racing with or had a friend, he could invite them in, and the only thing they would need to do to meet requirements is to attend at least one of the racer weigh-in events, so we can see kind of how they drive and their skill level, and then we just bring them straight up.
Right. All right, cool. Tell us about your hardware. What are you running? Pedals, wheel? How many monitors you have? And any third-party software?
Yeah, let's see. I've been using my Logitech Driving Force GT wheel and stock pedal since I signed up in 2012. Really robust wheel. It's not really let me down yet. I do have triple monitors, but they're different sizes. So I currently race on one monitor. I keep TeamSpeak on one so that I can move people if I need to while I'm racing for the organizing commitment. And then on the third monitor, I run a little app I found on the forums called Pit Crew, which tracks your fuel usage in real time so you can see exactly when you need to pit and things like that.
I don't know if I've heard that one. Pit Crew, huh?
It's pretty cool, yeah. It basically runs as a server on your local internet so that you can have it on a touchscreen phone or tablet, so you can check your tires with it, check how much fuel you want to get if you want to fill up to make it to the end, or if you want to get a whole tank. It's really got a big range of options for you.
All right, cool. I'll check that out. I always like to check out all the third-party stuff. What about, are you guys on a team? Are you organized into a team at all, or do any team official stuff?
I don't do any team official stuff outside of PRL. My good buddy Ken Carruthers, he's the one that builds all the setups that I run during the week and on Sunday. So if I was to say I was on a team, I would say I was with him. But officially, I'm not really on a team, no.
All right, I see. And final question, your most memorable iRacing moment so far?
I would say probably my first win. When I signed up, I didn't really know anything about setups, and I'm sure you guys know when your first time on here, there's so many settings. It's really overwhelming. So I think I raced the C-Fix for about 5 years. My first win at Charlotte was probably my most memorable one, honestly.
Yeah. Looking at your stats here on iRacing, not too bad, actually. Your winning percentage, 2.96 on oval. That's right where most people are, right at 3%. And pretty impressive stats throughout the years. Looked like 2015 was your best year with an 8.5% winning percentage there.
Yeah,
Pretty
I think
good.
that was when I first got into the B Open and started realizing how awesome open setup racing was. That 1 year, I raced as much as I possibly could and enjoyed doing it.
All right. Well, welcome to the podcast. Let's jump right into racing results. I guess let's talk first. I mean, Road to Pro is tonight. What do you guys think we got? I did some testing in the truck at Vegas earlier. Chris and Craig and others were in there with me. But what do you guys think? I mean, the setup we have is awesome, and it's so refreshing to see the team working together on it. And yeah, we got some real stars on our team as far as the setup wizards go.
I couldn't believe how quick it was when I got into it. I was just like, man, these guys are like wizards on this stuff.
Yeah, the draft is probably going to play a huge role too. It reminds me a lot of plate track racing, the few that I've done. That draft really helps.
I didn't get to practice too much. I ran about 10 laps, but what I ran, the truck was fast and stable the entire way, and there was almost no fall off or tire wear, which means we can get through a 40-lap run, no problem.
Yeah, shout out to Phil Gary. I think he's the one that put that set together, and it's ridiculous. Yeah, you're right. It's fast, it's consistent over
It's flat.
20 or 30. Yeah, it's nuts. It's wicked fast.
I mean, there's no lifting. Even after 10 laps, you do not have to lift. So yeah, it's going to be like a restrictor plate race. I don't know.
That's what it felt like to me last night running, because I mean everybody's just wide open. You can't get away from anybody. It's as close to And the trucks suck up really well too, so it's probably as close to a restrictor plate race that you can find as away from Talladega or Daytona.
Yeah, the last practice I did, I was literally just pushing my teammate down the straightaways.
The one complaint I have is the qualifying set. I don't know what's wrong with it, but going into 3 and coming out of 4, you're just the car turns normally, then out of nowhere the back end just comes around. Like
I told you that was going to happen. You got to be ready for it, man.
Chris, I did. I caught myself 3 times, man. I let off, didn't help. I countersteered, didn't help. I mean, when I countersteered, like, you should have seen it, Chris, coming off 4, but the truck was completely sideways. Like, even people were like, "How did you keep that straight?" I'm like, "I knew it was going to do that."
Yeah, that qualifying set came with the warning label.
Oh no, yeah. I'm not saying it didn't.
David, you got the same problem as I do.
Yeah,
we're just not that good. Those guys that are sticking those laps are getting fast times. I can't hang on to that thing either. I probably tried 20 or 30 laps, trying to nail that damn corner, turn 3 and 4, and I lose every time.
I went higher, Tony, and that helped. But even then, you just don't know when it's going to come off.
And you weren't in that practice session earlier, Tony, but I told Mike, the same thing happened to every one of us when we ran that qualifying set. I said, watch it, it'll break loose coming out of turn 4. And sure enough, even though we've all been warned, it happened to every single one of us. It breaks loose coming out of turn 4.
I tried it 6 or 7 attempts, and when I got to lap 2, every time it spun out on 4.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It's amazing that 8 or 9 of us, different drivers, can get in the same set, and it does the same exact thing at the same exact moment.
Yeah, shout out to Phil again for the set, because obviously, I mean, if you can stick a warning label like that on a set, and so many people can drive it the same consistently, that's a really good set.
Yeah, that race set, absolutely loved it. Like that race, Chris and I did last night. That thing just holds together so well for so long. There's hardly any fall off. Like, just awesome. I wish I could drive that qualifying set, but I can't do it. Not right now. So, but the race set.
Well, the race set's great. Yeah, I was real neutral. I mean, it was so neutral, even after 12, 15 laps. All right, let's get into NASCAR iRacing series. Let's talk results at Atlanta. Boy, mixed results, really, but I took the low side. I'll start off. Ellis, P22 on Wednesday fixed. I got, after 10 laps, it was just super loose, and I just suck at Atlanta. Coming off 4, going down that front straight, you got to pedal the car. Wednesday Open, P8, my best result of the week. I did get a lap down, but stayed out for a wave around on old tires, and sure enough, caught a caution. I got a lead lap finish. I did run the 1.7 set that we had. Thank you to our anonymous donor who's providing sets to us for the A car. Got loose after 10 laps, big time. I mean, it was loose. And then after 40, you couldn't go 40 on tires. I mean, that was it. Fuel was actually 57. Who else ran Wednesday? I think, Chris, did you?
Yeah, I did. I ran a few times through the week, and that one was just another one of those. We ran 20 or 30 laps, and then somebody would always lose it on the front stretch, and sometimes you'd make it through there, and sometimes you wouldn't. The problem was, man, when you were on eggshells with that car all the way around the track. So when somebody did, lose it coming out of 4, it was a lot harder than you would think trying to get slowed up.
Yeah. Next day, Thursday Open, we had teammate Greg Hectus, qualified 5th, ran up front all race, had a caution under green flag stops that trapped him at the back, so he ended up 11th. But good run for Greg. And then Thursday night fixed, Tyler Conroy, P5, best result. And Tony, you had top 10 too. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was kind of nice. It was nothing special. I basically stuck it in second gear and just let everybody crash around me. Tough, man. It's such a tough race. That car is like just silly loose. But yeah, I mean, you're driving on eggshells, like everybody's been saying. So yeah, I played it safe. I wasn't trying nothing, and just avoided all the accidents.
That's smart. I mean, you got a result out of it, and that's the whole idea.
Well, I was happy to. I did finish on the lead lap, so um, that was nice. Even though I believe I did get trapped a lap down through a pit stop, or I did something. But I was able to get it back, and yeah, top 10. I'll take it.
Yeah. Teammate Justin Laird also finished 19th after getting run over. Friday Open, Chris, you ran. How was that run?
Oh man, that was probably my best run I had all week, but didn't have much of a finish. I typically don't run in the top 5 a lot. I'm not that aggressive, and I'm not that fast. But that race, qualified third, ran the top 5 most of the race, and then another front stretch deal. There was a wreck on the front stretch, and I got off the gas too hard coming out of turn 4, and that's all it took. I just got off the gas too hard, and it sent the car down through the grass. And it was okay. I caught it on pit road, and coming to the end of pit road, the guy that had hit the wall slid down across the track, and I T-boned him and finished like 17th, 18th, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was listening in. David, you were spotting, I believe.
Yeah, I also ran. No, I wasn't spotting. I have school Friday nights, Mike, but I ran Sunday Open. We'll get there.
Yeah, let's see. Greg Hectus, he ran Saturday fixed, actually. Started 5th, ran top 5, all race again. Had a late caution and got 6th as a finish. And then finally, Sunday fixed. Well, let's go through Sunday Open. That's what you were talking about, David. You ran Sunday Open?
Yeah, I couldn't run Wednesday. Had some bad stomach issues. Ran Sunday Open instead. Was in the top 10 for the first 100 laps. I was catching people, and we'd been on a crazy long run, and I just lost it coming off 4, and that was the end of my race. I finished 20 laps down.
Yeah, it's tough. Chris, you ran that morning too, right?
Yeah, I don't really remember, but it was about the same as most of the others.
You ran just like me, Chris. You spun just like I did.
Yeah,
I remember you telling me.
Yeah, and then Sunday night, I did run, and I was embarrassed, guys. It was the initial start of the race. I spun my tires just a tiny, tiny bit. I mean, just enough to kind of move me towards the wall, and then I just kept going, but the guy behind me didn't cut me any slack at all, and he just ran right over the back of me, turned me into the wall, blew the engine. I got out there and finished P24, but boy, that's embarrassing. At the beginning of that race, for the first hour of it, I was P dead last, 36th, and I was determined not to finish dead last, and got out there and ran some laps. But boy, I mean, it doesn't get worse than that when you're the first one out. Teammate Tyler Conroy, he got pole position, first of the year. Congrats to him. Ran up front for a long time. He actually got a penalty. I don't remember why. I think it was speeding on pit road or something. But he got back with everybody else in the trash, and some guy turned him going down the back straight. They were side by side, and the guy just went left for unknown reasons. Pinned him right into the wall, blown engine. So bad break for Tyler. Chris, you ran that race as well, but got a nice top 10.
Yeah. I had been wrecked out of all the other races, so this one I just tried to keep the fenders on it the whole race, and that ran 10th, 11th most of the time, and there was a wreck on the last couple of laps and passed a few guys and finished 6th.
Hey Chris, do me a favor. Just stop running open the rest of the season. Just run fixed. Just run.
I know,
fixed
it seems like it. Yeah, the open has been my curse.
Which is funny, dude, because you're in the top 5 in points. I'm in 17th.
I like driving the open cars too. I mean, we've had good sets and they've been fast, and
I know
can't even finish to go with it.
So
you'll get one.
Look at the pattern though, Chris. I mean, we've been 2 weeks now. You get wrecked all week long, both weeks, and then on Sunday night you win at Daytona, and then here you get a P6 at Atlanta. So maybe you just wait, hold it for Sunday night, or you're doing something different on Sunday night than you're doing the rest of the week.
Yeah, I'm literally just not racing, and it's painful. I mean, you tell yourself, a lot of people start in the back and they'll say, I'm going to just let things play out. But like with Daytona, I mean, there was like probably 4 restarts where I pulled onto the apron, going down the backstretch. And so it was painful and it wasn't racing, but it seems like sometimes that's what you have to do to get a good finish.
Yeah. Let's, all right, I don't know if anyone else has NIS races to review, but let's talk about, next week, Vegas. We also did some practice in the A car. We got some sets from a friend from the podcast earlier today, and very interesting set that you gotta survive the first 5 laps basically, and then the pressures come up enough where it actually runs really good. What'd you guys think of it? I think it was all right.
Yeah, it's really fast. Yeah, those first couple of laps, I don't know anything about setups. I just drive the cars, but something smacking the track and dragging, you can see sparks shooting out from under the car, and then after that, when the pressures come up, the thing's a rocket.
Made it really loose, but still actually really drivable, which wasn't bad.
Yeah, over long run too. Yeah, that was another one where it's really stable and stays.
It's a long run set, and you got to survive that first few laps, because something's dragging. But it's interesting to run it like that. But we were talking about short runs. What are we going to do if there's a short run? Like 5 laps to the finish, and everyone pits for tires. Can you pump up the tires and put a pound in each? So you don't drag. You're not dragging ass.
I have no clue. I'd like to know.
I think it's probably going to come up. I think it would just depend on what exactly is dragging. If it's a splitter, maybe just a pound or
it was a right rear track bar.
Oh, well,
could probably raise the rear spring perks. Raise the rear end up a little bit.
Yeah, Chris and I were talking about it, but we need to practice it before we get into a race and try that.
Yeah, just YOLO it once.
So A car at Vegas, I'm excited because Atlanta just sucked. I mean, the whole thing about it being so loose down the front stretch. I mean, what'd you guys think about that? I mean, and then compare it to Vegas.
It just has no grip. That's the main problem.
I love it in the trucks.
Vegas has tons of grip.
Yeah, it's funny. The tracks are kind of similar, but they're not. I mean, when you drive them, they're completely different.
Yeah, you can see the difference that the newer pavement makes, and that's what they talk about. When we go to Atlanta, the real guys go to Atlanta. That place they slip and slide, and the tires get shredded. And you go the other 1.5 miles, and that's not the case. And you kind of see the same thing in the sim. The track's similar, but man, you're almost wide open, flying around Vegas when you're tiptoeing the entire lap at Atlanta.
I'm excited about this set that we got, and so I'm ready for tomorrow for Vegas. So bring it on. We'll see. Let's jump into NASCAR Peak Series ran at Daytona, guys, and our winner, Nick Ottinger, takes a checkered flag for the season opener. Brian Schoenberg second, Christian Challoner third. I saw the end of this, the last 30 laps or so, and it was kind of what you expect. There were some big pileups even on the last lap, and some pretty, hold your breath moments too. Would you guys see it?
I gotta go back and watch it. I forgot it was on.
Will, I think you watched, didn't you?
Yeah, I watched a big chunk of the middle. I unfortunately didn't get to watch the end. I had some friends come over, but it was kind of refreshing to watch the middle of their race. It was just nice. It was patient. which I wish we'd get across the board in NIS. But I saw some highlights there, and it's just amazing how close they replicate real life racing.
Yeah, it's like watching a NASCAR race. Yep.
Yeah, if you didn't know it was a sim, you would just assume it was just real racing. It's that close, that realistic, and it's really fun to watch.
Similar, yeah.
Yeah, and congratulations to the Chaos Crew. That's the Richmond Raceway back team, and they picked up the first one of the season, so kind of cool there as well.
Oh, you're talking about they have the Richmond Raceway sponsorship, right?
Yeah, that's I think they call the team the Chaos Crew, but yeah, that's the one backed by Richmond, the Raceway. And that's really kind of the only team out there that I'm aware of that has any kind of affiliation with NASCAR, be it tracks or teams. And for them to pick up the first one, I think is really cool. And hopefully more tracks or NASCAR teams hop on board.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool to see them to get kind of a return on their investment, I guess. And hopefully more tracks will see that and be like, man, we got to get us a team.
Yeah, if I recall the last few laps, I mean, it was about track position. I mean, you had to be up in that top 3 to really have a prayer, you know, and I think we always forget about that because we always think of Daytona Talladega as, oh, I can ride around the back, and when it's time to go, I'll go. Well, that was so 1990s and, you know, all that. Nowadays, it's not like that. If you're not up in the top 3, you're not going to be a part of the game usually, and when it comes down to the checker, but it was a good race. I enjoyed watching it.
Sounds like I need to find it and watch it then.
Yeah, they have a highlights reel too and everything. So, but check that out. They'll run next week. They run opposite the Road to Pro Truck Series that we've been talking about. So we run Tuesdays. They run the next Tuesday and so forth. And that's pretty much how the schedule works throughout the year.
Okay.
All right, let's jump into topics. I guess I'll take the first one. Tony Gardner bringing up top news of the day here. He posted up what's going to be happening in the March build. So we're coming up here on week 13, and that's called the March build. So every quarter we get a new build in iRacing. 2 new LMP1 cars, the Porsche 919 Hybrid and the Audi R18 e-tron Quattro. Exciting. I would hope that we can run one of these for Le Mans.
Oh, I'm planning on it.
Which one?
The Audi, of course.
Oh, okay. Why? I don't really have a preference, I guess.
Because I grew up on the 24-hour Le Mans and the 24 hours of Daytona, and it seemed like every year in the P1 category for like a decade, Mike, Audi was just
That's true. I know
always
that
in
too.
first.
So I understand the engine. I don't know a lot about these cars, but apparently there was a lot to program regarding the engines because it's this hybrid situation. Do you guys know anything about that, or?
The hybrid engine, Mike, is a lot like how the hybrid engine in the Formula One car is. It's the same concept.
But you're going to have different power bands, so to speak, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean it's going to be set up different like that, but I'm saying like it's still similar concept to F1.
Yeah.
So if like the electric part on the hybrid goes out, you're going to lose half your power. And I've seen that happen.
Right. Now, he also mentioned these 2 new cars will run in 2 new Le Mans series, an individual series and a team series, with an LMP2 and a GTE class, iRacing Le Mans Series and the iRacing Le Mans Endurance Series. The Le Mans Series will run every 2 hours with a 12-week schedule, 60 to 90-minute races as a regular official series. Then every other week we will run the Endurance Series with 2 time slots, Saturday at 7 GMT and Saturday at 1900 GMT. These are 6-hour sessions and team events.
All right, I'm asking off the back who's running with me for 6 hours. Let's do this.
Sounds like a good 2-man team, or maybe 3.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely do 3 hours, considering we all did 3 hours for the 24-hour stint. It'd be good practice for Le Mans. So I
kind of like the every
down.
other week too thing, so it doesn't get stale doing it every week.
And I also like the 1900 GMT because that'll allow me to get home from school.
Yeah, that late Saturday night slots, I like that idea.
You down, Chris? Perez?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could, well, yeah.
Let's put together a couple of teams. We'll put together a good team, and then I'll be on a team.
Okay. I know. I didn't know if you wanted to do Chris Scales.
That's the thing with 2 or 3 drivers per car. We can have several cars, and with how many guys we have.
There's no NIS that night, so
is there also anything special, Mike, as far as licenses? Did it break that down?
No, it doesn't say specifically, but
okay. Well, we'll figure it out. Because I only have a B license for roadside. So.
All right. Next up, I think was the biggest surprise of this announcement. The new IndyCar, the IR18 is what it's called. It's replacing the DW12. And if you bought the DW12 in the last 6 months, they'll give you a credit of $11.95. The DW12 will become free member content to everybody, but you're going to have to buy the new IndyCar. So it looks like if you're going to run the Indy 500 this year, guys, you're going to have to buy a new car.
Oh, that takes me out. I'm not buying another car that I'm not going to race.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I run it once a year. I'm not sure about that either.
I'll probably still buy it just to run it that once.
Yeah,
and then not again until next year. Actually,
I tried it for the Indy Oval Series to just see how I liked Indy. I did 2 races and I never touched it again. My personal opinion, the Indy car's garbage. That's just me.
Well, we'll see how this IndyCar is. This is a whole new vehicle. It's got less downforce, so.
I say I won't buy it, but watch 5 months from now, I'll probably own it.
Yeah, he'll have it.
In the month of May, yeah, when the nostalgia is coming around. And all right, the other thing announced, a new dirt track, Lima Land. We knew this was coming. It's a 1/4 mile from Ohio. There will be a night version. And the new dirt track at Charlotte, a 4/10 mile dirt track. It's located across the street from Charlotte Motor Speedway. There's also a night vision and a new GRC track, Sonoma, and a rescanned and revised version of Pocono. All right, I'm cool. I mean, Sonoma at GRC, I'm looking forward to that.
I was gonna say, I think the Pocono announcement is probably one of the bigger parts of this post here because everybody's been asking for this for a long time now.
I will say I'm gonna miss the old version, but I'm gonna love the new version at the same time.
Is there grass down the back, or is it paved?
You know, I don't know exactly. When
I think right now it's paved, so I would expect it to be paved.
Yeah.
So that means we'll have 3 versions of Pocono: the current one, the old one, and then this new one that they're going to rescan.
I don't know that there's an old one. There's just one Pocono.
I don't think there is an old one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was thinking like Phoenix or something like that, I guess.
I wouldn't be surprised if the old Pocono goes to like Carburetor Cup, and maybe even like the Dallara Dash.
Right.
That just sounds like free stuff because I'm guessing if you already own Sonoma, the GRC track will be free too, right?
Yeah. So Sonoma will be free GRC. And then the Pocono, it does say if you have the old Pocono, you get it free, the new one.
I think it's awesome. Yeah, they put the work into it, and you don't have to pay anything for it.
The truth is they scanned Pocono like almost 2 years ago, and they just now getting it out. And there has been a change since then that they didn't rescan, and that was where they lengthened the pit road wall because I think it was Casey Kane spun into pit road there and like almost took out some people. So they extended the wall, and I was wondering if they're going to fudge that in, or are they just going to draw it in without scanning it?
I'd imagine it would be really easy to just go and lengthen it with the scans they already have.
Right, just draw it in, yeah. Which I bet you they'll do. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, well, you've seen them do it with other tracks. I mean, Monza, when they did the dirt version of Lanier and stuff, or USA.
Yeah, they do some fudging, yeah. And the thing like GRC at Sonoma, there is no such thing. They're fudging that entire thing. They're creating it, you know.
That's what's really cool when one of those tracks comes out because you see GRC and you see the track. And it's like, well, that doesn't mean anything. It could say GRC, you know, middle of some field in North Carolina. You can put it anywhere.
Right. Well, and Sonoma has a ton of elevation change, if you recall. So it'll be interesting to see where they run the track.
Oh, I forgot about that elevation. I bet you that's a fun track in these cars.
If someone on one monitor, I could do without it. Man, it's tough to see over those hills.
All right, Will, what's next?
All right, so we got some news updates as far as the Dirt World Championship goes. Dirt World Championship qualifying series is set to begin March 15th for GRC and March 19th for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars and Late Models. These races will have splits for 3 heats and 2 consolation races, and they will be open to all dirt license and use snake splits. So we are going to have snake splits for those. A couple other updates as far as what's happening with dirt. The dirt street stock is going to have its rev chip increased to 6,800. They're reversing some front end suspension on the dirt wing sprint car, but now we can adjust the nose wing angle in the garage. They're removing adjustable shocks from the non-wing sprints as per the USAC rules. The dirt late model is going to get a few significant suspension updates. It's supposed to look and drive more realistic than ever before, and they are updating the class structures and race formats. No news on how they're going to update the class structure, but any C class and up series will have heat races. So that's pretty much all the news from the dirt world.
Heat races, C and up. And I think the other, big thing there is, we got a championship for GRC. I mean, that's pretty neat, I think. Interested in running that just for fun.
You go out there to school everybody?
We got one guy on the team, Phil Linden, who's really good at GRC. I think he's actually going to plan on doing that, I hope.
I bet he will. I bet I'll watch and learn something, I think.
The other thing, Will, Tyler posted up about the cushion, and with some photos that kind of show it built up after 500 laps, 1,000 laps, and so on. Did you take a look at those?
Yeah, I cannot believe I forgot to put that in the notes. So they posted some pictures. It looks like it might have been, I can't tell what track it's at, but the way the cushion builds up now, they kind of show it in increments of 0 laps, 500 laps, 1,000 laps, and all the way up to 2,000 laps. And you can see a definite rise in the level of dirt. So you should kind of feel a ledge up there as you get close to the fence. He kind of mentioned the way it drove is it's kind of tricky to hit right, but when you hit it right, it's really fast. So hopefully that gives us some more multi-groove racing on the dirt side. And another note, that's not one car over 2,000 laps. I believe they said it was like 37 cars on the track at a time. So that's going to build up over a course of a race, not over 2,000 actual laps. So
yeah,
that was one of the things I was a little nervous of.
I mean, the way when you look at the picture and you look at the white wall and you look at how tall the white is on the wall, as you get into later in the pictures, you can see it's very narrow. The white narrows up, and that dirt's literally piling up on the edge of the wall there.
Oh, yeah, and that's what a dirt cushion will do. Now, usually it kind of has like an abrupt edge you'll hit, and I'm not really seeing that abrupt edge. Kind of like how Knoxville has the berm on the infield. It would be something you would definitely feel upset the car, but obviously it has a ton of grip up there. It looks like it's kind of a smooth transition, smoother than I would like to see, but still, they're still moving in a positive direction, which is definitely really good. But yeah, you're right. The wall goes from about 2.5, 3 feet tall to about a foot tall by the 2,000 lap mark. So,
and I guess the other thing in review of this post is snake splits. We've been talking about this for weeks, and I had the impression that they weren't going to touch it with a 10-foot pole, and now they're saying we're going to do it for these championships in dirt. They don't say all the details of it, but from what I've been reading about snake split systems, it only works if there's a minimum I rating. And I don't think that they're going to limit that. So I wonder how it's going to work. I'm still confused.
I feel like after the first running, we'll know right away if they're going to keep it or not. Kind of like the single file restarts and no lucky dog in the Road to Pro.
Yeah.
I think it's risky, but kudos for them for trying, because either it's gonna work and we'll keep it, or it's gonna go horribly wrong and we'll know for next time. So we could theorize and dodge it for forever, and we would honestly just never know if it was gonna work. But I mean, in a few weeks' time, we're gonna know whether it's a smart option or not.
Yeah.
I predict horribly wrong.
Well, you think about GRC, for example. I mean, it hasn't been out long enough for iRating to really get to a point where it's correct. Everyone is basically the same iRating in GRC.
Well, I think so one of the saving things that's going to help here is the fact that there are heat races and then 2 consolation races. So say you're the fastest guy ever and you have a low iRating because you just don't race a lot. You go out there, you have an okay heat, and you transfer and you're good. Or you get caught up with some dummy. You're smarter in the C main than the B main. So I think having those extra races kind of weave out the slower guys, I think will help. Because assuming they're saying 3 heat races, that's going to be about, I'm going to say, 10 cars per heat, 30 cars that sign up, but only maybe 17 to 20 make the main. So It is going to filter some of those people out that really don't belong. So it might be a little rough at first, but I think once it starts to settle, I think it could work. I really do.
All right, we'll see. All right, Tony, what's next?
All right. 2018 Season 1 Patch 3 release notes. Looks like the patch was all updates for the GT3. Now, I don't understand what that BOP means. Can anyone help me out there?
Balance of performance. It's how each car is different, yes, but each car is tailored to be basically the same. So, like in the 24-hour race at Daytona, the Mercs had a better, the Mercs were performancely better than the rest of the car, well, especially the Ferrari. So they're trying to even the playing field here. What I like is they're going to make the adjustments in season as necessary, so nobody's going to get that, that whole dominant car all season long.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thanks, Chris. So this is the final GT3 balance of performance before the start of the 2018 GT3 WCS series. Please be aware, unlike past seasons, as Chris mentioned, they'll monitor performance as the season progresses and will make further in-season adjustments as necessary.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of, being the sanctioning body, so to speak, for the road cars. It seems like they're doing a good job.
Yeah, I just wonder if Ferrari went out there and seen some of their cars getting just demolished in some of these GT3 races with you could put the best drivers in these cars, they still wouldn't have a chance. They probably were like, hey, you got to tighten this up a little bit.
Yeah, you wonder if the manufacturer is saying something to iRacing about it. That is an interesting thought. Could be. Maybe that's why they're so on top of it.
I know. For me, Ferrari is the synonym, or whatever that word is, of racing. You think racing, you think Ferrari, you think Mercedes. And if I was Ferrari, I wouldn't want my name out there like, this is the slowest car they have on this service right now.
Yeah. All right, let's get the next topic. I got it. We got good information about how a spotter works at the start of a race. So somebody asked, is there a reason the spotter's quiet when you need him most right at the start of the race? David Tucker from iRacing said yes. He would just be calling out the car high, car low constantly. And so the spotter's not very smart. So right now we turn what's called the high-low calls off if the start of the race is true and for 3 seconds after the green flag flies. And so that's what's happening is the spotter basically doesn't do anything in the first 3 seconds of after a start.
It would sound like Chad Knaus was having like a seizure in the box or something, if they had that turned on.
I guess it's
High,
smart.
high, low, 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 low. Yeah.
Now, the poster of the forum post, he was referring to road stuff, okay? And so, I guess in road, it would make sense you'd want the spotter immediately. But I guess on oval, I kind of like it the way it is. And
Even on
so,
some of the road stuff, yeah, I would think they would have to have that built in, like the GRC stuff. I mean, those guys pretty much start on top of each other.
as iRacing is so cool that, they find a need like this, they immediately fix it. And that's exactly what David Tucker did. So he says in the next release, he's going to put something in the patch where you can go in the app INI and you will find a setting called car low high at start equals 0. If you change that 0 to a 1, the spotter will work as soon as the green flag flies. So if you're a road person and you want the spotter to be on immediately, you can go change that setting in the app INI.
Yeah, I know for me as an oval driver on a single monitor, as soon as we get that ability, I'm going to cut that on.
I would be interested to try it and see what it sounds like, right, Brandon?
Yeah, same. It's like for me on a single monitor, you either have to stare at your relative or look around so you can see in all your mirrors. Where if the spotter's on, you can kind of make moves with ease once you pass the start finish line without really having to worry. You basically just focus on your driving.
Well, because they're also saying, the spotter doesn't say nothing until where it says, race start of race is true and for 3 seconds. So you got to wait 3 seconds. You already turned one at most ovals.
Yeah, that's correct. So you don't know if you can go down and take the inside lane, or if the guy who started on your inside, who maybe didn't get a good as jump of you, is still there or not, without having to stare around the screen and look for the information, as opposed to having the spotter just give it to you immediately.
I want you to try it first and then let me know before. Yeah, I'm a late adopter. Yeah, because it's either gonna be really awesome or he's gonna like giving you way too much information right there at the start.
We'll know soon.
All right,
it's cool that they're just making the change, though. Really, I mean, they'll just add something like that into the sim, so a handful of people can, say something about it.
Yeah, even if no one uses it, it's great to realize that need for something maybe, and then to give us the ability to use it or not.
Yeah, it's something I didn't want, but maybe I'll find out after a couple people have tried it out that it's something I do want. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so watch for that in the next release. Okay, Will, what's next?
All right, so there was some discussion in the forums about NIS participation, and a friend of the podcast, John Hammer, had some fun stats. NIS participation at Daytona this year, there was 1,121 entrants in open, 1,919 in fixed. This time last year, open had 1,424 and 2,139 in fixed. So it looks like participations dropped a little bit. Now we also have Road to Pro, which had 933 entrants this year. So yeah, there's a lot of discussion about whether it should be a C, B, or A license for NIS, and how that affects participation. Now, there was 920 A licensed drivers with 5 weeks counted last year. By week 30, only 15% of Class A drivers ran 50% of the races. So it seems like having the series open to C and B license definitely drives participation, because A class just makes up such a small portion of the drivers.
Yeah. I think it's good to have B and C as part of NIS. I think the Road to Pro, what happened at Daytona last time, is indicative of that. We have a team member, Tyler Conroy, who's our hot shoe, and he didn't have an A license and couldn't participate in the Road to Pro series because he had a bunch of wrecks at Daytona and fell to B. And so that's a bummer. And if you want, good participation, you need to be forgiving with that a little bit. I think by allowing A, B, and C, people are going to run every week, even if they have 2 or 3 weeks, bad weeks in a row in NIS, and they drop from an A to a B or a C. It still allows them to continue to participate so they can bring it back up.
Well, NIS is also nice because, like for me, for example, I normally run Wednesdays, and for both Daytona and Atlanta, for example, I had to run both Sunday mornings because I couldn't run the Wednesday nights for one reason or another, and I couldn't run Friday nights due to school. So having that Sunday morning, that third option to run, and run, not great, but halfway decently, I still gained I rating and I still gained safety rating. So, it's nice that the races are a length where even if you screw up, you can still do that.
Kind of disappointed the overall participation is down for NIS. I thought it would be up, if anything. I just felt like this year there was more enthusiasm from the community that we were going to have a little bit higher numbers than before, but they actually went down a little bit, about 200.
Well,
I think that.
Sorry, I'll let you go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I think honestly, me like for the longest time, I wouldn't race NIS just because it's A-class car with C-class drivers, and I think the participation's kind of down because now you've got the road to pro, which kind of alleviates that for people like me with that mindset where you can go to a different kind of series like that, which is sort of like the NIS, and race with drivers in the A-class, even if it's a C-class car.
Yeah, and it's a unique series, 36, 30 weeks long. They only run once every 2 weeks, There's only one start of, every 2 weeks, so it is unique, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. I wonder how many A-licensed drivers were actually losing to Road to Pro. I'd be curious to know how many A-licensed drivers were in this Daytona and last Daytona. I bet you that's where the fall off is. I bet you there's more people focusing on Road to Pro, especially the people who want to make it to that next peak level, because you have to do good in Road to Pro. Then the B car, there's really no reason to focus on the NIS tracks and schedule if that's
Right.
where your end goal is, because you're going to be a year away from driving that car anyway. I think if you look at the stats, I bet you the biggest fall off is in the A-class driver.
Yep. All right, Tony, what's next?
Oh, we got a message from from iRacer Brent McCoy. Says, hey Mike, just looking through the splits for the Open Series Atlanta, came across your name. Just wanted to give you and the guys a pat on the back when it comes to the iRacers podcast that you and the team do. Really appreciate it, and it's informative. For that, I say thank you. Keep up the good work. Gotta love these. And we've had a few in the last little bit, and well, they're so great to read and hear about.
Yeah, absolutely. I certainly appreciate the nice comments. Keep them coming, guys. We'll read them on the podcast. It always gives us a little motivation to keep it going. So thank you for that, Brent McCoy. Next topic I'll take up. We had a fellow iRacer driver, Tom Flaw, pass away recently. And so rest in peace, Tom. I think if you've been on the Facebook iRacing pages, you've interacted with Tom. He was very involved on a lot of different Facebook iRacing pages. He did a lot of racing in the hosted, apparently. I haven't personally run with him, but there were a lot of people that were certainly touched by Tom Flaw. And so there were a lot of comments. In fact, one iRacer actually went to the funeral, and he had mentioned he met with the kids of Tom Flaw and expressed the community's sympathy and whatnot. Tom, he had a winning percentage looking at his iRacing stats, 5.26% on oval, with over 6,800 starts. He won. His very last race he ran was actually official last year, Texas, where he finished 7th. And so Godspeed to Tom out there. All right, Will, what you got next?
So we just got some updates from Twitter this week. I kind of condensed them all. First is there any update on caution laps not counting on the dirt side? Is it in the future works? Any upcoming bills? And Steve Myers replied, it's still in the design phase. Also, we had somebody ask about the new ZL1 Camaro NASCAR. And according to Steve Myers, still no updates on that. They are working on multiple fronts to come up with the car to scan. But he also noted NASCAR wants it done. So kind of neat to see NASCAR's pushing to have that done. Hopefully some of the teams hop on board. And just a heads up, we are on Twitter now, quite a bit more than we used to be. If you want to follow us, it's at iRacers Lounge is where you can find us.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of going on there on the Twitter. All right, Tony, what's next?
It looks like we got an article from NASCAR Esports News. There's NBC Sports ran an amazing article discussing how the next generation of drivers could get their start in sim racing, which featured quotes for William Byron as well as Jack Irving, Director of Team and Support Services for Toyota Racing Development. Here's William Byron on iRacing. iRacing was my chance to really see if I had any ability to drive a car, Byron says. I think from that standpoint, it's a great starter for understanding if you do have some ability and seeing if that can translate. When asked about having iRacing League to see who might have similar potential to Byron and put them in a car to see if their skills carry over, Jack Irving stated, "That is something that is of interest and something we've spent some time on. It's definitely non-traditional. I think that it's evolving. The better the physics are, the better that iRacing becomes, and I got no idea where this is going." Sorry, guys. Basically, what they're saying is, as iRacing is, honing it in and becoming, the physics are just becoming more and more realistic. It's going to be even easier for an iRacer to make that transition into real racing, and we're kind of seeing that ongoing now.
Yeah, another week, another article by another mainstream media. This is NBC Sports, and this time we're hearing from Toyota showing interest in iRacing. So I thought it was pretty cool to hear it again. This has got to be coming, guys. We keep hearing all these stories about it. The other thing I heard was I follow a NASCAR fan podcast called Right Sides Only Radio. And on that podcast, they had a segment talking about the news that each charter team in NASCAR would hire a sim driver and run an iRacing NASCAR league. These two guys on this podcast, they're not on iRacing. They know about iRacing. They talked about if this was televised midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday night or something, they'd likely watch it. And anyway, it was really encouraging to hear these very positive thoughts from regular NASCAR fans that they're interested in this and that this is actually a viable thing.
Yeah, and the race broadcasts are already really good. When I first signed up, I just clicked on one of the banners because there was some race going on somewhere, and I was bored. And I was really surprised at how well those guys did calling the race and everything. I mean, it was just as fun as watching, a dirt race back home. That's what I was watching that night. If you get some guys that you actually know and care about running those races, you'd probably watch them.
Yeah, and that's what these guys were saying. They said, is this DVR material? No, but if I get home from work, I'll turn it on and watch it,
It's one of those things where, hey, I'm in the mood for some dirt track racing. Oh, look, nobody's really racing right now. But, hey, I can watch an esport version of the same thing and feel, just the same thing I would from watching an actual race.
Yeah. But, yeah, and it was interesting that this is kind of a cross-cut across NASCAR fan and media. And if they're talking about it, it's well known. If these NASCAR podcasts are talking about iRacing and how the charter teams are going to hire sim drivers, that means it's really well out there. I mean, this has been publicized on a lot of very public sites that we've talked about. So
Heard a lot of things saying sometime this year. So,
yep,
forward next season. So
here it comes.
Who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Okay, I guess I got next one. Last minute notes. A reminder to everybody, this is week 12. be sure to end the week with a 2.0 SR or 3 plus SR if you're trying for the new license. Chris, I think you told me to remind people about this.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you don't want to be caught at the end of this week with your SR under a 2. You run a bunch of truck races and take a beating and don't think about it, and you're going to end up with get your license demoted. Same thing if you're trying to reach your B license, trying to get that A. Make sure at the end of this week that you're above that 3, so you'll be eligible for promotion. Get any races you need. If what's it called? Your MBR?
MPR, yeah.
MPR, yeah.
Now, when you told me that, I went and looked at my licenses, and Dirt Oval, my safety rating 1.6. So I'm actually going to be demoted if I don't bring that up. So I might try to run some more Dirt Ovals and see if I can bring it up. Also, last minute note, GRC is still running a promo for new iRacing members. You get 3 months for $5 with this promo code PR-GRC. Boy, it doesn't get cheaper than that, guys.
No, it wasn't that cheap when I signed up.
Right.
Yeah, luckily I got that deal when I first signed up back in 2012. It is a really cheap way to see if sim racing for you. Even if you don't own a wheel, like I didn't at the time, you can use a controller and just drive around and test this and then see if it's for you for $5. I mean, it doesn't get cheaper than that.
Yep. So check that out if you got friends who want to get involved. It's a really good time to do that. You look up Red Bull GRC on Twitter and you'll see the promo code. Let's get into hardware, software. Will, what's up first?
All right, so Sim Racing Studios has posted up a SRS double fan wind power package. Basically, it looks like 2 fans that you mount up. They basically keep you cool while you're driving. So just gives you an extra level of immersion. They posted a really cool video of them using it in VR. And it just gives you that next level feeling of being in a car, get that wind flow, get it moving. Right now, it looks like it's on sale for $189.99. And that comes with everything you're going to need to set it up, including both fans. So if you're trying to get to that next level immersion, it is definitely a really cool item.
You plug it into your USB on your computer, and the speed of the car dictates how fast the fan blows. That's kind of neat.
Kind of pricey, but really cool.
If I was on VR, I would be looking at this because you definitely need a fan if you have those goggles on your head. So why not have the fan tied into the engine, and match the engine RPMs?
Yeah, I know. I recently just got a butt kicker, and having that is a huge immersion step. So yeah, if you're in VR, you do need a little table fan or something. This is definitely a really cool item. Very, very cool concept, especially the fact that it works with your motor. Just you lose that airflow, I guess, if you blow it up.
Or what if these things are so powerful they can actually simulate the speed outside your car, so you can hear that whizzing by you, and then plus, like if your cat was to come bother you, it just get in that airflow.
Well, there's 2 of them. I suppose on the video they have them side by side on the steering wheel base, but I suppose you could separate them a little bit and have one blowing in your left ear, kind of one blowing in your right, or something along those
cool
lines.
If they're that powerful.
Well, check it out, guys. If you want to check this out, it's simracingstudio.com is the website. All right, Tony, what do you got next?
Oh, this one's kind of cool. Looks like from Feel VR Sim Racing. It's a cheap direct drive wheel about to launch on Kickstarter with a 40% off discount. Now, I've taken a look at this wheel, and it looks really good. I'm imagining it's going to be the wheel and pedal setup. The pedals look pretty darn decent. I mean, you're getting the load cell brake, and it looks like everything's all adjustable, just like the higher end stuff. Now, the one thing that I didn't get was a price tag on this.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
think I
trying to
recall
find.
$400. We've talked about this several weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's right. I think their Kickstarter program is gonna launch right around that $390, $400 mark, and then afterwards it was gonna be like $800.
Right.
Okay,
And
so
looks
I was
awesome.
sleeping.
yeah, it looks really nice. It's a direct drive wheel that's going to be economical. Now, here's the drawback. It's still a Kickstarter. It's not an actual company that you can just go to their website and purchase it yet. You have to, involve yourself in the Kickstarter program, and you got to trust that it's going to work and all that other stuff. So, but I brought this up again, even though we talked about it several weeks ago, because these guys are advertising heavily on Facebook, and I see their ads all the time. Obviously, I'm somebody they want to try to sell to because I'm an iRacer, so I understand why I'm seeing the ads, but they're spending money on those ads, obviously, because those are true advertisements. So these guys are putting their money where their mouth is, and that certainly does impress me and really makes me want to take a second look at this. But pretty cool. If you're in the market, you might want to check this out. Their website is get.feelvr.game, get.feelvr.game.
Yeah, I don't have the $400 to gamble with, but if I did, I might take a chance on them. And even if not, I kind of hope they do well and this thing really comes out, because I think just looking at it, if it's the product that looks like they think they can come out with, it's still going to be worth the $600 or $800, whatever they're going to charge for it when it's retail.
Yeah, they've been very, like, they'll show the specs of the torque, and they're admitting it's not as powerful as, say, the AccuForce, which is kind of the standard for direct drive wheels, but it's not far off and a lot cheaper is kind of what they're going after. So I think if this works the way they plan, it will be kind of like that kind of entry level direct drive, which is still not sim racing entry level, but still gives you an option.
Now, the other weird thing about this is I also found a video on YouTube, and it's been since taken down, and I don't know why. And when you go to their channel, which is called Feel VR Team on YouTube, they actually have no videos anymore. They're all been removed. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but they did have a video. I did watch it. It was a video of their booth at the Sim Racing Expo, and it showed their hardware, in real life being used. People were sitting down and racing with it and driving with the wheel and the pedals. And you got to see it in action on the video. Now I'm kind of disappointed the video's gone, but I actually did watch it before it got taken down. And they actually do have hardware, guys. I saw it with my eyes, and it looked pretty nice from what I saw.
It came up for me, so it might have just been something with the link on your computer.
Oh, it did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw the video of it actually working. So
Yeah, I was watching
like
that now.
deal.
It shows unlisted. That maybe why you can't see it.
Yeah,
All I
I'm not
know
sure.
is I just signed up for the newsletter because I want to see how this goes. Because believe it or not, I've signed up for 1 or 2 Kickstarters before, and both of them have been a success. So
it's a neat looking wheel too, and it's got red on it. It's like a red and black, and really nice looking buttons on the wheel too.
Yeah, I'm interested. I wanna buy it, but I can't convince the other half, the wife, to let me spend that type of money.
Yeah, and the more wheels we have on the market, the cheaper it'll get. More
Yeah,
people
everything will
can
get
race.
cheaper.
So yeah, the more the merrier.
I like the fact that you can get this and you get the pedal set up as well. I mean, that's just seems to me like a hell of a deal. If this all comes through.
Tony,
it's
you're
not the
just
crappy set that came with my Thrustmaster either. They're like legit sim racing. You're good to go pedals.
Yeah, they look very very similar to what Fanatec holds, and that's that's another reason I'm looking at these guys. And I was gonna say, Tony, you're just happy that they would ship to Canada.
Ha! Well, that is a bonus. I didn't even notice that, but oh yeah, I don't have enough rooms in my house to renovate to be able to justify this one.
Yeah,
sure you do.
Wouldn't it be like $1 million Canadian to buy something?
No, Chris, you got the exchange wrong. It's not 1 million, it's 2. Get it right.
All right, cool. Direct drive wheel. Yeah, that's affordable.
Yeah, Tony, you just slip it in at tax time and be like, I don't know where this came from, but it's here. I might as well use it.
Well, let's jump to final topic. iRacing has partnered with Valvoline to help make an aspiring driver's dream come true. Think you're racing's next star? Enter the Fast Track to Fame contest now through March 15th. Winners receive up to $50,000 in prizes. And I saw this, iRacing Twittered it, and so naturally I clicked the link and signed up, and I have no idea what it is. Do you guys know anything about this?
Nope.
Yeah, I tried it. I actually signed up. I had to upload a profile picture and fill out a form and put in my contact information and write, what I like to race and stuff like that. And then apparently people vote on the website for these racers. And then whoever gets the most votes apparently wins. I don't think it has to do with racing, to tell you the truth. It's some kind of popularity contest or something.
Yeah, it really seems like it's more for real racers than I would say sim racers, but it is open to sim racers. But it looks like it is a popularity contest in essence, and Valvoline's looking like they want to sponsor somebody. They just want to figure out who. And if you're good enough at marketing yourself, at getting yourself out there, that's kind of what they're after. So it's kind of a smart ploy by them. I'm curious to see if any sim racers kind of get the final cut.
Yeah, you make a profile and then you share it on social media kind of thing and try to get people to vote. So yeah, it's like market yourself. So I don't know if people are interested in that, but check it out. You can find it on iRacing's Twitter.
So vote for Mike Ellis. His profile is
right.
on there. Racer,
Give
Mike
me a
Ellis.
vote. I was actually trying to find my name and see if the website's really not too friendly, but trying to see if I had any votes, but I couldn't figure it out. All right, let's get into final thoughts. Chris Perez, what do you got for final thought?
Ready to see what tonight has for us. This truck setup we got's really, really fast. Just hope we can survive it.
Yes, we have a great set. All right, Chris Scales, final thoughts.
Yeah, same thing. Just ready to go race these trucks.
All right. David Flowers.
Same thing. Can't wait to race these trucks on the race A car tomorrow in the open.
All right, and Tony Groves, final thought.
Well, I tell you, after tiptoeing around Atlanta, Vegas is very refreshing. I can't wait to use this new set. It's just so solid. I'm so excited for tonight. It's going to be a great race. Really looking forward to it.
Yep, absolutely. William Gibson, final thought.
I'm excited. I worked on the set for a little while. I'm glad that we got one a little better than what I had. But yeah, after being at Atlanta and watching how slick it was, I think it'll be refreshing to go to kind of a standard track where you could kind of really drive the car, look for speed, and not have to worry about just not wrecking it the whole race. Also, I just want to shout out, we do have our Discord and Twitter kind of going, so if you are looking for that, you can check it out on Twitter at iRacing or iRacers Lounge. And yeah, no, it's been a fun week, and I'm excited for some good racing tonight.
All right. And Brandon Massey, thank you for joining us on the podcast. You're certainly welcome back anytime. What are your final thoughts?
Yeah, sort of in the same vein. I'll be taking the night off, so I will not be racing in the Road to Pro, but I will be up in the crew chief box. So hopefully my driver has a good race and we have a good night.
Yeah, crew chiefing is fun too. So Will's been doing a little of that, and I like to spot sometimes when I'm available. It's fun to get into that. It's a different thing. All right, thank you for coming. My final thoughts is, boy, I'm glad we're in season. Moving on here to week number 3 of NIS. Only 36 more to go, or 33 more to go, guys. It's a long season, so keep your head up. I had that horrible start on Sunday where I crashed on the first lap at the start, and I was dead last. And boy, it doesn't get more lower than that. I mean, it's like a low of lows. So I can only go up from that. So I think I'm going to do good at Vegas. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, with that. We'll see you later.